All right, my lovers, how's everyone doing? Just wait for a couple of people to drop in because at the moment I'm just talking to myself and I'm hoping very much that some people drop in. Here's someone. So hope everybody is good. I'm good, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. Hi, Sean. How you doing? I'm going to explain why I'm good, and I'm going to focus this week. I thought what we would focus on this week is talking about heart rate training, and energy systems, because I think they are some things that I could explain quite easily that can help people. And I think sometimes people get bogged down in the what are the different energy systems and why, and hopefully I'll be able to add a little bit of knowledge, drop some knowledge and help in there for those of you that want to know. And if you don't train with heart rate, that's absolutely fine. But it might be something at the end of this video that you go, do you know what? I might give it a crack. And you don't have to train with heart rate, by the way. There are plenty of ways to train. But I thought I would talk about it because I've just been out on a run, and I have trained. I went out and monitored my heart rate and still trained too hard because I was trying to make a video at the same time and my heart rate kept spiking. And it just made me think, oh, do you know what? I think it's something that we need to address. So who's in? Barry's in. How we doing? Richard, Steve, Alex. Hello, buddy. Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, I've realized now, as I say, talking about heart. Well, you're the man to be in this chat, Alex, as well, and Andy as well. You can definitely add your opinions to this whole heart rate chat, because I want to explain it in a way that to people that don't understand why we say train easy or base training and things like that, why we would say that, because a lot of people that I've interacted with over the last few weeks and days, even still now say to me, you know I train too hard, but I still do it. And I think possibly that is from a lack of understanding, and not in a like I'm having a dig way. It is a lack of understanding of why we would train easy and why it's so hard to do, because psychologically it makes you feel like you're not doing something for your session, whereas actually you are doing something huge for your session. Alex, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. So Alex and I and our friend Gary, I've decided, Alex hasn't decided this, but I've decided next year we're going to do Ironman Copenhagen and Kalmar one day after the other. I'm just kidding. I don't think I could possibly do. Alex is probably the kind of person that could do that. I don't think I'm there yet. Yeah, so heart rate. It's a bit of a tricky one, because when we go out and train, our instinct is to go hard, because when you go hard in a session, it makes you feel like it's all been worth it when you come home, right? So if I get a show of hands, people in here, if you think that you're the type of person that trains too hard, let me know in the comments there, because I know certainly there are times when I do that, and it can catch you out. And the reason for that is, let's make it as simple as possible for my brain, not yours. I need to simplify it. When you train easy, your body is using an energy system called the aerobic energy system, which is essentially taking in oxygen, using it, circulating it around the body via the red blood cells and fueling the muscles, and then bringing the deoxygenated blood back to the heart and lungs to be reoxygenated, and the process continues, right? And that really happens a lot when you train easy, because your body is not focusing on anything else. So what it can do is it can focus on the quality of delivery of oxygen to the muscles. It can focus on the quality of the mitochondria in the muscles. It can increase them, because it's like, whoa, man, I've got time to do this. I've almost got time to play with, and I can make more mitochondria in the cell. I can make higher capillary density, which is, you have veins and blood vessels, and capillaries are the smallest version of those. They're the ones that kind of infiltrate into the muscle and finally deliver the oxygen into the muscles. And if you train easy, your body can increase capillary density and therefore allow more oxygen into the muscles each time. But something interesting happens when you allow your heart rate to go higher. And that is that your body has to focus on other things. It doesn't have that like pure focus on base where it can make all those really nice improvements for huge aerobic gains, because now When you increase your heart rate and you train, say, above what you'd call your base heart rate, it starts to, or you start to create lactic acid in the muscles. It's a byproduct, a waste product of slightly higher intensity activity. And instead of concentrating on getting the oxygen to the muscles and feeding the muscles and blah, 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 your body's like, oh my God, there's lactic acid. I need to use the oxygen to break that down and remove it instead. So when you go harder, you're actually moving from this energy system to this energy system, and this one gets neglected a little bit. It can't do what it wants to do, and it can't build a huge aerobic base where all the stuff above it can work off of. So you train hard and you feel good, and you come home, you're like, that was a good hard session. But what your body has trained itself to do is get rid of lactic acid or run at a higher intensity. So you get into a race that's maybe a slightly longer distance race, and you can do the higher intensity for a short amount of time, but because you've never focused on this bit down here, this base that you should have focused on with your easy runs that builds the capillary density, that increases red blood cell count, increases mitochondria in the cell, you've never done that. So this high intensity lasts for a short period of time and then just goes poof, and you can't carry on. So if you've ever hit the wall when you're running, if you've ever, I mean, sometimes that's nutrition, don't get me wrong. If you've ever hit the wall when you're running, or if you've ever been in a race, this your first slightly longer distance race, and you've struggled, it's because probably you've trained too hard, and we've all done it. By the way, I trained way too hard, probably my first couple of seasons. It's an experience thing, but we're all about learning from each other's experience here in this community. And I'm telling you, this is my experience of why we train with heart rate. And we'll get into how we train with heart rate in a minute. I'm just going to drink my recovery drink because I've been for my first run, by the way, in 2 weeks. I hurt my back 2 weeks ago, and been for my first run today, and it was a successful, very short 5K, but I'm happy. So who's in? So Mohammed's in. The lockdown event reduced your speed, and that's Sivanshu. Short trip. Keep injuring my calf, and I've just discovered cross-friction massage. Have you heard of this? Yes, very much so. I'm hoping I can recover enough within a few weeks. I'm really missing my training. So I have heard of cross-friction massage. I've done it a lot myself, having suffered with Achilles tendonitis and having suffered with plantar fasciitis and my calves. I actually do that quite a lot. And what he means by cross-friction massage is if you've got tendons all over your body and ligaments, and they either attach bone to muscle or muscle to muscle. So, for example, this is going to hurt me, by the way. This is my Achilles tendon here. And if it is painful, this type of rubbing up and down, that's the way the tendon fibers go anyway, right? And they tend to get a little bit of scar tissue around them and stuff like that. So if you do that, it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't break up the tendon fibers. Cross friction is going across the tendons or ligaments, really getting in there, and it helps break down scar tissue and it helps break apart fibers. So that's cross friction massage. And yes, I have heard of it. And yes, you're right. It does speed up. Recovery. So fingers crossed. Good luck for you there. Mohammed, it's 2-week lockdown here. What should I do? Rest for 2 weeks completely so I can recover from my small injuries, or do workouts? Where are you, Mohammed? My advice would be do things like, yes, recover. Take the time to recover. Remember, this is a lifelong journey. Don't worry about a rush. Take the time to recover if you've got small injuries. In fact, good little segue. That is what my video is about this Sunday, is that I am declaring physical bankruptcy. I'll explain more in the video, but I'm declaring that, and I'm very happy to do so. So yes, I would take a step back, maybe do some strength and conditioning, some flexibility work. I've just started yoga, which is part of my new regime. I'm going to do daily yoga for the whole of my 8-week holiday, see where it gets me. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Alex, for those of you that are a little spend more time burning fat as a fuel versus glycogen is a bonus. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So staying in the low zones, it's a better way of losing weight is staying in the low zones, because you use fat as your energy source more than you do glycogen, which is the energy source that your body uses when you start going up to a higher intensity. The 80-20 rule is essentially, it is essentially what I'm talking about. I always talk about this: 20% of your training should be at a high intensity, 80% at your base. And I think you would be mad to neglect that for the long term. I'm even picking up injuries and I'm doing the 80-20, but that is another story for another day. That's because my body is essentially falling apart after the crash last year. Mark, how you doing? Oh, you're from India, Mohammed. Yeah, I would say, lock yourself down, work on your strength and conditioning, get some yoga in or something like that, a little bit of flexibility work. The 80-20 rule is how you eat, but you've got it back to front. Yeah, it depends on what the 80 is. If 80 is chips, you're in trouble. And if 80 is broccoli, you're probably still in trouble. So a nice balanced diet. Of course, I will do a video for nutrition at some point, definitely. But it's not my area of expertise. But I'm aiming to get a nutritionist on, Mohammed. So Andy, tried to follow the 80-20 running, but you find it impossible to run a low heart rate. You end up walking. It depends on where. I mean, have you officially done your heart rate zones, like really nailed them down? Because there's a lot of different ways of calculating heart rate zones out there, but I find I can still run in my zone 2 at quite a decent pace. I mean, my zone 2, the highest point is 164 beats per minute for me, and I know that I can still run a decent pace there. So it might be something down to the calculating of your zones properly, rather than 220 minus whatever and then doing it like that. That none of that works. That is hocus pocus, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember what you call it, but it doesn't work. So learn about calculating your zones properly. I have done a video for people on the channel, if that's something that you're into, if you haven't, but you probably do need to do that. And I wouldn't trust Garmin necessarily, because the zones that they calculate I would use Joe Friel's zones. Joe Friel's heart rate zones are pretty good, pretty accurate, and they're the ones that I use, and you can find them online. Matt, hello, buddy. How are you doing? I am now on holiday, and I will be in contact very soon about our video, especially because I just got the email today from Ironman Copenhagen saying that I have to defer to next year, and I've got headspace, and we can put our video together. So if you don't know Matt Legrand here, who just commented, then go and find his channel as well. He's another triathlete, former runner, and a good guy, and does great videos. I wish that my videos looked as good as Matt's. He's amazing with making his videos. So go and check him out. Alex, in an easy session, you still do 10 minutes hard. Yeah, I mean, you can just to mix it up. I mean, if you're doing an easy session and 10 minutes hard, depending on the length of the session, you still got your 80-20. So, but I know you know what you're doing, Alex. I mean, you've been training for years and years and years. I used to teach Alex's son, actually. So yeah, we've known each other for a long time. Danny, do I think any marathons would take place in 2020? Yes, but not official ones, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm doing 2. I'm doing London and New York. I don't care whether they're on or not. I've obviously got to get there uninjured, but I'm certainly doing London and New York marathon. Where, I don't know, but on the days. And London is still currently on. Let's be honest, let's be realistic. Probably not gonna be, but New York has been cancelled, and they've given us a deferral for the next 3 years. So Mary and I can choose which of the next 3 years might work for us. So we'll see, which is it's quite good. We just got to hope it works. But I don't know, maybe late in the year, there's some small marathons. I mean, I did a trail marathon called the Flitchway Marathon on New Year's Eve a couple of years ago. And, there's probably 200 people that ran it. Maybe small marathons will stay on. It's just the big ones that potentially won't. So yeah, Matt, I do. Do you know what? I feel better than last week. He's just said I look so much better than last week. I look better. I'm not taking painkillers anymore. I feel better. And actually, part of Sunday's vlog, what I did today is I experienced a cryo chamber for the first time ever. So I spent 4 minutes in a chamber at -85 degrees. And actually, it was brilliant. I was in a fog this morning. I felt like I've been hit by a truck. I think it's the end of term, just tiredness. And I went in that cryo chamber and I came out buzzing, properly buzzing. So that's going to be part of the video on Sunday. So make sure that you watch that. Simplicity is my thing, Mohammed. You're absolutely right. I don't believe in overcomplicating anything because it doesn't need to be. I think people overcomplicate things and it gets us all in trouble, even with the fact that I train 3 times a week rather than 4. I believe in consistency, simplicity, and positivity. Does that work? Yeah. Yes, I did do the Wim Hof method, Sean, and it does work. And we're considering actually booking a package. There's a package in Sevenoaks that they're doing at the moment, 99 quid for 14 days straight. And considering one go is 35 quid, it's bonkers, kind of crazy bananas offer. So we might take them up on that offer as well. We've just got to work out a day when we're kind of 14 days straight here over the summer. But definitely was the Wim Hof method, and it did work for me. Yeah, I can't lie. It was brilliant. Hey Jake, how you doing? Consistency, simplicity, and positivity noted. And you were literally writing to ask if he does breathing exercises. I try and do them as much as possible. It is amazing. I don't do breathing exercises, but I actually saw something from Russell Brand, would you believe, today, where he does a lot of breathing exercises. And he was saying some of the stuff he does, he almost kind of transcends space and time with his breathing. And he's like, actually, it probably is quite near hyperventilating, but it almost separates his consciousnness from his body, if you believe in that kind of thing. And he, I know Russell's a bit of a Marmite type character, but I really like him. I love the way he talks. His books are brilliant. So, I like the way he thinks. I've got some really cool news for everyone, by the way, some really exciting news that I'm so happy to give you and proud of. Valencia in December. Is Valencia in December going to be on, do you think? That would be great. Good news. I have updated the website finally after about a year of doing nothing to it at all. I have completely revamped the This Messy Happy website so that it has everything you need in there, from the YouTube links to all the playlists. I am, as we speak, putting all of the training plans as quickly as I can onto the website so you can actually finally download them. I haven't got them in PDF form yet, but I'm going to have them in PDF form with even a hyperlink in the PDF that takes you to the strength and conditioning workouts. It is new training plans that make it easy. You don't have to write them out. You get them. So check out thismessyhappy.com and tell me what you think of the new revamped website. It's not perfect and it's not all there yet, but it will be soon, and I'm really excited. And it's got all my coaching packages and information. It's got a link to the Patreon account. It's got what else has it got? All of the blogs. We started This Messy Happy actually writing blogs. We didn't do YouTube. We wrote weekly thought blogs of either exercise or education or whatever, and that's how we started. So our origins are on that website. So if you're interested, go and check it out. It really hasn't been loved until recently, and not many people have looked at it, but I have updated it so that it can help more people. So let's have a look. Breathwork is a good app. Okay, I will check that out. And Ricardo, well, funnily enough, I was just about to mention Ricardo. So we've got Ricardo has just dropped in, and Ricardo and Sai are the first 2 people that have really kindly signed up to the Patreon account. So I'm giving Ricardo a bespoke training plan for a race that he's got coming up, and we're going to drop it for him into Training Peaks after we've had a chat. And Sai is similar. I'm going to be giving him monthly feedback on his Training Peaks and update him and give him as much help as I can. So if you're interested in the Patreon account, it is, again, This Messy Happy. If you check it out in Patreon. And nothing, I don't want anyone to just give me money. That sounds ridiculous. Of course I don't. But I recognize that there is another way that I can help people via being a lot more personalized. So I'm going to always give everything I can for free on this channel, training plans, these types of chats, advice, everything. But I do coach people. I coach athletes in this local area. I've coached people in America before. I've coached people all over the world. And I recognize that I can offer that too if people want it. And no one ever has to sign up for the Patreon. It will never be a hard sell. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is there are options there for much more personalized help if people want it. So I think there's 4 tiers. There's kind of just there's a monthly chat and me looking at the Training Peaks feedback. I can do bespoke training plans, or there's the full package. There's loads of things. So if you want to check out Patreon, do it. No hard sell from me. It's just another way that I might be able to help. Toby, you were in Valencia last December. The starting areas were rammed. It'll be interesting to see how they manage that. So I'm assuming Valencia is still currently on. That would be interesting. And if it is, when is it in December? Just like, maybe I can do that. I love the feel of being at a marathon. Nothing beats it. No other distance for me. It's and I do love every distance, but the marathon is very, very special to me. So how about getting your first clients to record their progress? It'd be great to see their story and then their race, if at all possible. Certainly something I can, absolutely, certainly something that I can work on. I'll chat with Ricardo, see if he wants to do that. He is Patreon #1. That is absolutely for sure. Is that a dab? I didn't even know there was a dab emoji. So early December is the Valencia Marathon. Okay, so that rules. Well, we could do a weekend. We'll see how we go. I've got 1st of November is the New York Marathon. So I think I will be doing that anyway. There's rumors that Valencia may be elites only, but they're only rumors. Yeah, and do you know what? And I think London is probably going to be elite only as well. It would be my feeling, my sense of things, because is it possibly a qualifier for the Olympics next year? I don't know. Not sure, but I can't see it being a mass participation event. Even if they staggered it, then there's going to be a ton of people. You can't stop people coming to watch the London Marathon. You can't say stay in your homes and let people run around the streets. That's madness. So I think I just can't see it being on. I know that they're working every way possible to try and make it stay on, but train for it. Definitely train for it. You're within that window now. You got to start training for it. But just do it on the day, whether it's on or not. Recovery drinks are the best. So let's get back to heart rate just quickly while there's a little pause in the questions. The reason that I say that I train with heart rate is because it is, running wise, it's pure. It's like power on the bike. There's no, yes, you can have good days and bad days. Things can affect your heart rate when you run. Like for me today, recording the video on the GoPro spikes my heart rate. However, for me, purely, really, it just keeps me, my ego in check, because I will always run harder than I should do. That is just me. I just like the feeling of running hard, but I also know the huge benefit of running easy, and it takes time to get used to. But once you see it, once you feel it in a race, once you feel that benefit in a race, it's like, oh man, I need to do more easy work, because it is huge, and you don't appreciate it until you can go harder in a race. So, it's a difficult sell because everybody likes to push themselves hard, but I'm telling you now. Oh, see you, Alex. Good to see you. Difficult thing to sell, but trust me on the base training, and hopefully I've explained that well enough earlier on in the video. So, Andy, what would be a decent time for a first-time marathon to complete it? There is no such thing as a decent time, because it's all extremely personal. Someone who has never run before, train for their first marathon and finish it in 7 hours is totally decent. Someone who has run their heart out and finally managed to sub 2:30, totally decent. So forget about time. Genuinely, just think about finishing. And my first marathon was just about finishing. I did it so that I could finish and kind of banish the worries in my head before London. So London wasn't my first. I picked a different one, a trail marathon, just to feel what it feels like to run a marathon. I don't mean that to be a cop out of an answer, Andy. I'm not kind of saying it to put anyone down or do anyone down. I just really believe in not worrying necessarily about times until you've got an idea of how it feels for your first marathon. Getting into once you've got a baseline, then you can start talking about what would be decent for you. That's important because it's always for you. It's not a decent time, it's for you. Ricardo, that's why you didn't sign up yet. The price is the same until the end of September. What does that mean? Oh, for Valencia. Okay. Toby, I'm a PE teacher. Yes, I am indeed. Am I worried about impact on kids' health right now? So many kids not getting that chance to do sport for 3 months. So many knock-on effects on the pop's health. Yeah, big time. And actually, speaking to my neighbor this morning, not just their physical health, but their mental health, a lot of kids have really suffered. And we're adults, right? We've really suffered. I really suffered mentally, and I've never suffered in my life. I'm 40 and I've never had it hard mental health wise. I don't think, like days, but not prolonged periods. And this nailed me. This time nailed me. And I'm in control of that. Like I'm an adult and I'm thinking these kids, they don't know their emotions yet. They really struggle with emotions in general. All kids do. So they have to go through this horrendous process of not just lacking physical health because they're being locked down, but this mental health thing. I really feel for this generation and us. I really believe if the majority of us are going to come out of this with some form of PTSD, I believe that, and it's on us to speak out and talk to each other and be community and offer each other support and help each other, because I'll be honest with you, without that, we're not going to get through it. We can't bottle things up. We're all going to struggle. This is unprecedented times. For our kids at our school, I actually created a different YouTube channel called the PE Hub, or the Home PE Hub. And I put out daily videos, not just exercise. I was very clear that this is not a Joe Wicks thing. I am not just making them physical. A PE teacher's job for me is so much more than that. I feel so passionately about that. Joe Wicks is amazing, but he's a personal trainer. A PE teacher is not a personal trainer. A PE teacher teaches children about life skills, about how to communicate, work in a team, how to cope with challenge and struggle, how to reflect on things, work out strengths and weaknesses of gymnastics or whatever, how to improve them. That's what we do. That's what PE teachers do. And so I created a channel to try and cater for that element. So physical workouts as well as kind of mental workouts and trying to keep their mental health up. And it's just so hard. I think they're going to struggle. But at the same time, this could have been the making of a lot of children, because we spoon feed a lot of children. We wrap a lot of children in cotton wool, and maybe it's not the worst thing in the world to put them out there a bit more and make them cope themselves a bit more. They might have developed coping strategies that they've never developed before in their life because they haven't had to, because they've been in school and we've given them, there's the answers, all the way up to blooming A level. That happens. And then they go to university, and no wonder so many people drop out of university, because they're like, oh my God, this is what actually doing it for yourself is. So maybe we've made the generation. Who knows? Man, I really went off on one there, didn't I? And that wasn't even about exercise. Sorry. Can't imagine. I'll go back to the questions. Can't imagine running on tarmac for more than a couple of miles. It seems to pick up more injuries on the road than on the trail. Yeah, just much more impact. The tarmac just has less give. I'm sure you know that. I don't want to teach you to suck eggs. So, Andy, you were thinking between 4 and 5 hours. Absolutely. But remember, for you, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, 4 or 5 hours is a decent time for a marathon for anyone. Mr. Caffeine, any chance for me to come back stronger as my posture may improve? Yeah, it is all about, yes, absolutely. Everyone can come back stronger. No one should give up, but it's about iterating. It's about making change. It's like, you've got to see yourself as currently the iPhone 7 and you want to be the iPhone 8 or whatever. I'll go into it on Sunday. But the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is a load of rubbish, because if that was the case, we wouldn't have the new MacBooks, the iPhones, the new GoPros. They're not broken, but they were made better. So whoever made that saying is a load of rubbish. Arindam, you haven't run a half marathon ever, but did two 10K runs in under 60 minutes. You've got a forester exam coming up where you have to run for 26 kilometers in 3 months' time. How do I complete it in the fastest? Do a training plan, consistency. Do my half marathon training plan, really, and then add on the 5K on the day and keep yourself uninjured. Andy, before you go, what was that heart rate? The heart rate zone thing was, check out Joe Friel's heart rate zones, but also if you go onto my channel, under one of the playlists under education, type 1 is how to calculate your own heart rate zones, or even you could just write that, how to calculate your own heart rate zones, this messy happy. Toby, no worries at all. Hope it was a decent answer. And as a PE teacher, I surely support kids' mental health through physical activity. Yeah, physical, not just physical, but like I said, we educate them mentally as well. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I mean, I am biased being a PE teacher, but I genuinely see my role as way more than a fitness trainer and way more than it was when I was at school. I didn't buy into that. And I really think that we are the people that can physically and mentally educate and create literacy with these kids. Okay. 32 minutes. It's quite a long time. We have sausage and broccoli and fennel for dinner tonight, which is one of my favorite dinners. We're treating ourselves this week. Andy, drop a comment outside of this video, but in the comments bit, if you want to know a bit more, or if I can help lead you to the heart rate training thing. But yeah, there is a video of how you calculate your own zones, and then you can input them into your Garmin. You can actually alter your zones so that they fit you. But actually, I don't even do that. I just have calculated them, and I now just know up to 164 beats per minute is my zone 2 and 1, and my zone 3 is up to 171. And then above that is zone 4 and 5, which is obviously your hard session. So I know where my zones are. I can spout them off straight away. And that's where you want to get when you're heart rate training, because you can look at your watch and go, oops, without it beeping at you. It's quite a nice place to be. Okay, Matt, thanks for being here. Thank you everyone for being here. Now, listen, again, never a hard sell. So just thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. I love the talking with you guys. It really, it really makes me feel like there is a community out there and we are part of it. So thanks for being part of it. And if you want to check out the website and give me any feedback, good or bad, all, for me, it would be all beneficial. And I will see you on Sunday for the video about me declaring physical bankruptcy. I'm excited about the next stage, and I'll see you all soon. Laters.